Hey guys, and welcome to Sounds Like NYC. I'm here with my buddy Mark West. How's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, those who don't know you.
Okay.
A short bio.
I'm a New York City painter, and I am creative director of House of Mark West Gallery. And that's my studio where I create art, and I also throw art shows and have different types of events for the community. We've thrown a play in our gallery. We've also had a meet and greet with the Queens District Attorney, with Jose Nieves during his campaign for Queens District Attorney. Where we talk about a little bit about the justice system with people from the community. So using the gallery to throw stuff for the community, and also do my art, create art, and provide a space where other people can create art.
Nice. So how did you first start out making art? Like, how old were you? What was the initial thought? You just started doing it for fun and just grew into something else? Like, how did that start?
I think it started from definitely early childhood. I like to do a lot of art, and I liked art class. That was my favorite class. Felt it was very fun.
I sucked at art class.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I think that was the most fun type of class, and I was really good at it. And I would always do just a few paintings, just here and there. I look back at them; they're cute. Yeah. They're cute, and then I pretty much put art away for a few years and started definitely in high school. I felt like there wasn't a really big art curriculum, so I focused more on taking the AP classes and forgetting about art in college. Didn't really think about art. It wasn't until I moved back after college to New York City. I finally got to rent my first room when I got my first job. It was in a family friend's living room, so it was really, really large. And me and my friend, we painted the room, and we had all this wall space, and it was bright white, and we had these nice hardwood floors. It was a pre-war building.
Nice.
So we had
high ceilings.
Very high ceilings, crown molding. It was just really, really, and it was large too. And it was my first space, so I wanted to make it look nice. And then I started going to Dollar Tree, buying some paper, poster boards and stuff, and just painting on it. Painting on them, and eventually I filled my room with all these paintings, and then when I had friends come in, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, your art's so nice," and I'm just like, "Oh, thank you," not thinking much of it. I didn't make art with the intention of selling it. It was just to make my room look a lot nicer, and I wanted to feel nice when I walked into my space. I wanted to put nice, colorful paintings on my own space. And people, when I started drawing, my images, they just were very affected by it, impacted by it. And when I had maybe eight paintings or so, people started saying, you should maybe try and sell some of these paintings. Maybe people, will want to get them. And I was like, nah, I don't need to do that. I was still hopping from job to job, constantly, getting a new job, having it for a few weeks or months, and believe it or not, I got fired a lot of times.
For
any and every reason, for stupid reasons. Sometimes for no reasons. I just couldn't keep a job. I just graduated from college.
What'd you major in?
I majored in humanities.
Okay.
But it was integrated humanities. So I studied a lot of different things, from calculus. I got a minor in Mandarin. I got a minor in West African studies. I got a minor in French studies. and I took quite a few business classes as well. But I graduated from college, and I just felt like I just couldn't keep a job. And I was in China. I went to NYU, but NYU Shanghai in China. So I was there, and I was like, when I was in China, I felt like I had all this opportunity, and I come back home, and I can't keep a job either. I have the worst education in the world, and NYU failed me because I'm not prepared, or I'm meant to run my own company,
right?
Because I'm not working well, or working with
under somebody,
and I had kind of lost hope, and I just was like, I'm moving back to China. I started calling up my friends in China. I was like, I'm coming back home. Somebody find me a job.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have any worries if I were to go back home to China. Home is here, but home is also in China. And right when I was gonna go back, I got this finance job, making all this good money. And I was like, no, I can't leave, because I got this job that's gonna like pay all my bills.
Right.
So I got this good finance job, and this was around the time when I was still in my first apartment. Not my first apartment room. I rented a room out. I didn't have my own apartment. And once I was about to start this job, I needed a little bit of money because I was kind of unemployed for a couple weeks before getting the job.
Right.
So I was gonna call my grandma, ask her for some money, and then I decided I was walking by 14th Street, and I saw people just selling their art, and I decided maybe I should put some of my art out. And I remember I just, went out there, the weekend before, literally the weekend before, I was about to start work. I was broke. I went out, I put out, maybe eight paintings. The first day, Saturday, I sold one painting. Second day, Sunday, I sold another painting.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, wow.
There might be something here.
It might be something here.
Yeah.
And then I went home, I did all these more paintings, and I went back to like maybe 14 paintings, and the second weekend I sold 9 paintings.
Wow.
And I was like, oh shit, people like want to buy my art. And 5 pieces went to Italy. The second weekend I was out there, so I was like, oh my god, now my art's
I'm international.
My art, I didn't even really try that hard, and now I have art in Italy already. So that made me feel like I should just keep at it, and eventually I was able to sell paintings for a lot more than what I was selling at the beginning. And that also let me know. So I was working this finance job, and it was a great job. I had a great boss. I love my boss. He is a really nice guy, and it was a good experience, working in corporate. I had a little cubicle, and with that, I just got tired of being in the cubicle, and I would find myself always drawing and doodling.
Right, you were daydreaming about selling art.
Not so much selling art. I wasn't daydreaming about selling. I was wanting to create art. I was at work, and I would always find myself, drawing and stuff, and I'd bring my markers, and the coworkers would be like, like chill, like, get back to work. Yeah. So I would, but my work was good. I did do good work, So my boss wasn't like, on me. But like I would draw so much, and then I was like, okay, I need to do something. So then, every so often I would get a manila envelope, and then be drawn at the desk under the envelope, and then I heard that like the big boss saw me drawing, you know, And so I was like, okay, now I can't be drawing at the desk. So then some days I just would get there in the morning. You know, when I was on the subway, I was inspired a lot. You know, I would see lots of things, and I just would want to just make sketches of them and draw certain types of stuff. And I was just there all day, you know, at the computer in the cubicle. And sometimes I wouldn't have any work. Most of the time I had work, but sometimes I had. So I would just always want to create. It got to a point where I would sometimes go in the bathroom and be drawing, you know, just because I wanted to just get the
ideas out. Yeah,
I just wanted to get the ideas out, you know, and I wanted to pull my color markers out. You know what I'm saying? I want to get the red marker and the blue marker and the green marker and be able to like just do whatever it is that I want to do. And then I decided that if I could get my art a little bit more consistent, then I would leave this job and try to pursue art more full time. And
do you feel that like pursuing art full time kind of takes away from like the I guess the magic of it, just creating by your own, like whenever you want to? Do you feel like it's a difference when you decide that this is going to be a business versus then you just creating when you want to?
Well, I do create whenever I want to.
Right.
And I don't make art that I say, okay, this is, you know, made. I would say this is made to sell. I make the art that I want to make, and every time that I do make a sale, I consider that like a blessing.
Right.
Like, oh wow, you know, I'm not just expecting you to just buy my paintings.
Right.
You know, with me making it, and I also know some art that I make. I don't think it's gonna sell, but I want to make it anyway, and so I just make it when I want to make it.
And if people buy it, they buy it. If not, then
if they buy it. And sometimes I make art and I don't even put it out to sell. I just make it for myself. So, but I also like commissions, getting commissions, because with the commission, it's someone saying that I trust you to make me something that's gonna that I'm gonna want to look at every single day of my life. Cherish every single day of my life. And with the commission, that's a different type of art, because I'm trying to channel the person's energy. You know, I'm not just making something, you know, and hoping that it finds the right home. Right. You know, I'm trying to connect with a particular person.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess what are some? I mean, do you feel like you can give some tips, or like anybody starting out, you know, thinking about going that route of like selling art?
Selling art, I think that the number one thing I would have to say is to what's the number one thing? If I could give, I would have to say find a way for people to see your art. Don't make art and don't show anyone. You know, make sure if you make a piece, you know,
scream it on the rooftop.
For me, art is not for myself, it's for other people. I don't do art for myself. I do it for you. Right. You know, I'm doing it for someone else. A lot of artists, I think they make art for themselves. They make the art that they like to make. Right. And that's why their art don't sell. You have to think, you know, what is someone else gonna want to buy? Right. What are they gonna want to put up in their home? And trying to aim for high quality. Always set a high standard for yourself. Look at your art and say, okay, if I were to price this painting, if this painting would one day sell for $1 million, what would it look like? And don't stop until you try your hardest to get it to that, even if it's not. You know, aim for you know, people aim for longevity. Make art that people are never going to throw away.
But do you think people buy art because of the art, or because of the artist and the story behind it?
I think people buy art for all different reasons.
Yeah.
And I think the painting finds the owner. Yeah, I definitely feel that because certain people I find are attracted to certain type of paintings because I make paintings with different intentions, and I'm always shocked when sometimes I'm shocked, and then sometimes I'm like, aha, I know you would buy that one.
Right.
You know what I mean? You look like it's meant to go to you, or or that painting is meant to go to that person.
So you were born in New York City then?
Born in Baltimore.
Born in Baltimore, you moved over here.
I moved a little bit all over the country. Graduated in Texas.
Oh, nice. How was that?
Texas. I like Texas. I lived in Frisco. Frisco, we had good education. I remember a really good high school. Frisco was really clean and safe.
So the reason I'm asking is like I usually ask artists when they come here is like, what do you feel that you've sort of learned from being in New York City that sort of changed you as a person? Do you feel like anything in New York City is like, you know, sort of molded you as the person you are today, or do you think it's just like, I mean, it's just whatever?
I definitely think New York City has molded me because I'm a hard worker, and a lot of times, you know, my day starts very early and it ends very, very late. Sometimes the day ends to the next morning.
Right.
And in a place like New York City, I was always really able to be rewarded for my hard work. Sometimes not immediately, you know, it may not come that day. You know, but if I do put in effort in this sort of city, I've learned that really all I gotta do is believe in myself, believe that it's possible, and then also work extremely hard, and then you can pretty much achieve it in a city like this, and giving myself that confidence to not give up.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, I've heard that a lot, and I think it makes a lot of sense because the city's just so fast. I mean, you really, people don't come here to survive, they come here to thrive.
You know, I don't really think it's that fast. And I'm going to tell you, I know New Yorkers would say, like, this is the fast. I know people in America think this is the fastest city. But in Shanghai, I was there for 3 years, 3.5 years. Shanghai is extremely fast. Like, so much faster.
Faster than New York City?
Way faster.
That's blasphemous.
Way faster than New York City. Things happen very quickly. Business goes very, very fast. You could say to someone, hey, I was to start a business with you. In China, they're gonna meet the next day and start that business the next day. You know, like things move very, very fast. And Chinese people work very, very hard. And business is always going on. And another thing, you know, like construction never really stops. At nighttime, they just turn on the light. So businesses are literally coming up really, really, really fast. And I think that after living there and seeing getting used to that pace, coming back here to New York City, everyone's okay, let's do it next week. You know, everything is a week from there.
I think it depends on your circles.
It depends.
For me, like if I want to start a business, we meet that day.
We meet that day, and then what I'm saying is just like, even for like applying for a job, you know, like, you know, you're going to submit an application, they're not going to get back to you until the following week or 2 weeks, and then after that email, they're going to schedule it for the next week. You know,
the second interview is 2 weeks from now. Yeah.
Versus in China, a lot of things are okay. When can we do it? Okay, now. You know, like, things are like
start now.
Now. Yeah. So they're very ready to like activate all the time. And so coming back to New York City, I was like, getting used to it.
I guess we're screwed. The lights turned off. Oh well. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. There we go.
Yeah. getting here in New York City, I was kind of annoyed by how slow it was taking me to just get on my feet because I had to get back to the American way of life, and the Americans are not like, on it. New York City it's like faster than other parts, definitely faster than Texas and like, other cities and stuff. But like in China, like it's really, really fast. Like I could go to China and like by the end of the week I could have an apartment, a job, making good money, and a girlfriend.
Yeah.
You're gonna have like all of that stuff, like just like that.
Yeah.
So that's something that.
Well, listen, we're still the fastest city in the United States. Can you give me that?
Okay, definitely.
Oh, good word. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of your art has to do with like, I feel like you mix activism in all of your art. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like, is that just because you want to, or like have you never really thought about making a piece that isn't really, with that? Or do you feel like it has to be a part of your art?
A lot of times I don't make art with the intention of necessarily having a message. It just kind of comes out of me. Like I can just draw it, and a lot of times I don't really know what I'm doing. And at the end, I see that it has some significant meaning, or that I did something that. A lot of times I realize that I did something impactful when other people see it, and I get other people's reactions, and I'm just like, oh wow, people are actually impacted by this. But that's not what I'm not going in with the mindset. Okay, how do I make a painting that's impactful? That's not
just sort of comes out.
An intention. It's just me, just drawing. Like, and a lot of times I get the image full in my head. Like I can see the full image in my head, and then I just have to draw the sketch and put it on paper.
All right. Nice. Any last words? Anything you want to end this interview with?
I'm going to talk about my gallery. Yeah. Sure. So I'm located in the South Bronx. So at the time of this interview, we're preparing for the grand opening, which is going to be in I think a little bit less than 2 weeks from now.
So like end of September?
Yeah, the end of September. So if you're listening to this, we do throw really cool events in New York City, and we do a lot of things for the community. And right now I'm trying to raise funds for my Bronx Artist in Residency program. I want to help 5 to 6 local Bronx artists with their our career, and help them thrive and provide resources for them to be really successful in New York City, and just help them, give them access to curators and collectors and just the general public. And also add an art institution in the South Bronx, which is something that's definitely needed.
Big.
In a place like South Bronx. We need more cultural institutions there that people can, Black people and Latino people can go and visit. So that's what I'm working on. Follow me on Instagram, House of Mark West. That's my Instagram, House of Mark West. And you also could follow me on houseofmarkwest.com. And that's MARK. So you can go on my website and click contact us and just put in your email address, and then when we have something, I'll invite you to the events. And then if you follow me on Instagram, you can also see my art that I make, and you also learn about the events that we have, and we're doing a lot of cool things. So just check us out on House of Mark West. That's about it.
Yeah, definitely. And as soon as I hear of any new up and coming events or something, I'll definitely share it with everybody.
You'll be at a grand opening, right?
Kind of have to now. When is it?
It's on the 20th and the 21st of September. It's a
Saturday,
2-day opening. It's on a Friday and a Saturday, so you can come to whichever one is probably more convenient.
That sounds good.
To you.
I'll definitely have to go now.
Okay.
I'll video everything.
There's free wine too, sponsored by Bottle Bronx.
Well, there you go. I definitely have to go now.
Yeah, it's a nice, really boutique winery in Sobro on Ryder. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right.
It's a long time coming, and I'm finally glad we got this time to sit down. I've known you for like how long now?
How long has that been? That was before we had the gallery in Queens.
I think so.
I think that was in March. March or maybe February.
Yeah, I remember it was cold. It was kind of cold that day.
It was either February or March.
Yeah. So it's 6 months.
Yeah. It feels like forever though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You're a good guy. I'm really glad I met you, man.
I'm glad I met you too.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for interviewing me.